Good morning, guys, guys and pals. How you doing today? Welcome to day 19 of Drills December. We have a week left, so let's get into it. So the drill we're talking about today is one that helps with over-rotation at the beginning of the circle in a rotational shot put throw. It was taught to me by a former athlete at my school, and it's been really helpful, especially because I have problems with over-rotation, and it's something I definitely need to keep working on. So I'm very glad to be making this video because it's as much for me as it is for you. So what you'll need for this drill is anything tall and sturdy that won't move unless it's pushed over. I have generic brand disinfecting wipes here. That'll do for this demonstration. So let's get into the drill. I'm gonna change my shoes real quick. All right, so now that I've gotten my shoes on, I put the disinfecting wipes right where my left foot would be if I were to start a rotational throw. So you can see that if I were to over-rotate, my heel would clip the side of the object, whatever you chose, and it would send it to the side. So this is a much more physical and personal way of feeling if you're over-rotating or not, because it's a much more binary action. Either you hit the object or you don't. So if I was over-rotating, my left foot would knock over the object, which is why you want something that's going to be sturdy enough to not knock itself over. Anything works, water bottle, a shoe even. I usually use a 1 gallon disposable water jug. During practice, you're going to put your object where I told you, right beside your left foot when you start out. And you're going to go as practice normal, doing your rotationals, but just making sure that you don't knock over your object. So you can see here, I over-rotated because I knocked over the object. And I know that for sure because it was on its side. If I didn't have the object, it would be kind of hard for me to tell if I over-rotated or not. But because I knocked over the object, I know 100% for sure I over-rotated on that throw. So this drill, just like with the step back wall drill, is one of those drills where you physically have to do it. Either you get it right or you just keep failing. And that's what I like about this drill so much, is that there's no way to not improve by doing it. I mean, of course you could just keep hitting and knocking over the object, but you know, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting it to change. However, if we didn't throw over and over again, we would never get better. I don't call that insanity, I call that progress. So, one last time. I've got my object maybe an inch away from my foot, maybe not exactly next to it, as your foot does need to turn and it's gonna go outward as it does that. So, it's about an inch away from my foot. I'm going to load up, shift my weight, and just be aware of your surroundings, which is why the object is there. It forces me to be in tune with my surroundings, which gives me a much more controlled, calm, and collected sense of throwing. Shot put is often misconstrued as something that's just brute force and for grunts and for, you know, people who are just insanely strong. But the beauty of shot put is that it's so intricate and it's down to the smallest muscle movement. And that it's just as much of a butterfly's flap of its wings as it is about that quick throw. As Muhammad Ali said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's all I have for you today. Throw Martin, signing off. I'll see you tomorrow.